This is Andrew Klavan on The Culture. Today, we take an inspiring look at your public sector unions at work. Everywhere you turn these days, your public sector unions are hard at work protesting cutbacks to public sector unions.
Bunch of wimps! Bunch of sissies!
Every once in a while, you gotta get out of the streets and get a little bloody when necessary.
This guy's making threats now. He says he's gonna break my neck.
One lawmaker looked out at the crowds gathered in the Wisconsin Capitol today and said it's like Cairo moved to Madison.
That's right. The public sector union protests are just like the protests against tyrants in the Middle East, because elected American officials working to reform public sector unions are like Middle Eastern tyrants in the sense that In order to appreciate our public sector unions as they deserve, let's take a look at how they operate. In the private sector, you have an employer who creates wealth and pays his workers for their labor out of that wealth. If the employer is greedy or cheap and pays unfairly, the workers may organize into a union. The union can then demand higher and higher pay and benefits until the employer goes out of business and is thus taught an important lesson about being nice, while all his now unemployed workers enjoy a hearty laugh at his discomfiture. But with a public sector union, the employer is you, the taxpayer. And the public sector unions you pay for are so effective that not only do their workers have greater job security than you, their salary and benefits are also often much higher. Now, you may say, hey, wait a minute. If I'm paying the public sector worker, how can he make more than I do? Well, the reason is there are a lot more ordinary people than there are public workers. So each person can pay part of the public worker's higher salary, just as there are more ordinary people than princes and kings. So the princes and kings can wear fur and jewels while the ordinary people starve. You see, unlike private workers who may be constrained by market forces, public workers, by definition, provide essential public services with no competition. The only real negotiating power you, their employer, have is the power to vote in a governor who will stand up to them in negotiations. But wait, public sector union contributions help elect the governor, so your negotiator may be beholden to them. If your governor gives more of your money to the union has more money to help re-elect your governor. More and more of your money for more and more re-elections, until you have no more money, and then the governor raises the workers' pensions, because by the time the workers collect their pensions, the governor will be out of office anyway. Now, when the bill for those pensions does come due and you have no money to pay it, the public sector union worker takes to the street in protests, because protesting magically creates more money. What a great system. I hope this has explained why we should support our protesting public sector union workers. You. Because if we don't, they'll hurt us. For more information about public sector unions, read Obama and America's Public Sector Plague by E.J. McMahon and Shakedown by Stephen Malanga. They're both colleagues of mine at the City Journal, which has more public union information at city-journal.org. This is Andrew Klavan on The Culture.